Hi, this is Freddie Spencer reporting after the 2017 British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Now, the British Grand Prix is always a Grand Prix race that riders are looking forward to because it's very prestigious to win. Certainly everyone here in the UK looks forward to it for many reasons, and it's one that I feel very fortunate to have won before at Silverstone. Now, of course, for the UK riders, Cal Crutchlow or Scott Redding, it's the one race that you definitely want to win in front of your home fans. The circuit is very challenging, especially in its new configuration. There's different sections, and they are all over the place as far as speed. You have the fast S's with kind of blind entrances to them. It's all about carrying momentum. You have the tighter sections of the track that lead on to straightaways, and so to be patient there to kind of get through and make sure you have good exit speeds. So it has a lot of that, and it's also very wide. So it's a very technical circuit for the riders, and it's very demanding on the bikes. And so getting the bike set up is very important. So you have that perfect combination of handling, traction, and being able to being able to manage the tire over the length of the race, especially if it's like normal at the British Grand Prix where you have such a wide variety of weather conditions. But this past weekend, the weather was pretty good, considering it's the British Grand Prix. So let's start off with practice. Now, everyone going into the weekend wanted to see, of course, if Marc Marquez could kind of maintain that point lead, continue his march toward another World Championship, or if Dovi on the Ducati could continue his momentum after the last race and that last win. It looked like that Marc was certainly going to be there. And Cal Crutchlow, of course, who qualified on the pole last year at the British Grand Prix and was able to finish second, was going to figure into the mix. And on Friday, he was very strong. But Marc Marquez looked like he may be the one until he had that crash. And he crashed in one of the S sections going into the left. And you could see from the onboard that he just was carrying speed in there, maintaining throttle. And as soon as he tilted in, the rim broke loose and it high-sided him so abruptly. I know what that feels like. Now, he was on the harder compound tire because, of course, on Sunday, it looked like the temperature was going to be up, and that was maybe the tire they were going to have to run. So he was trying that combination out. He had the crash. It didn't hurt him. He ran back to the garage, got on his second bike. They put on a softer compound Michelin, and he went out. And it didn't take him any time to get back up to speed. In fact, I think it was third lap, and he put in the quickest time in the section, and at that time, the quickest time for the race weekend. Now, what he did after that was something that I think was very important, is because he still needed to see where the hard compound tire was going to be in that performance. And so he put that same one back in that he had crashed on the bike, his number one bike, the first bike he was on. And he put it back in and went back out. If you look at his times, he took a little slower to get up to speed, but after about 4 or 5 laps into it, he was running as quick as he had run all session, and he was fine. So he was very fortunate. In fact, if you look at Marc over the years, he's had quite a few crashes, and he normally doesn't get hurt. So everything kind of works in his favor in that respect. Now, Valentino Rossi was another rider in practice that was just kind of building up as he normally does, getting up to speed. Didn't seem to have any problems with Yamaha in any way, either him or his teammate, Maverick Vinales. Now, they went to Misano and tested in very hot conditions, the goal being two things. One is to see if they could get their bike working better in hot conditions, in tire management standpoint, for later in the race, because that's where they seem to struggle. Even with electronics, that if they run the electronics to where they have the performance they need, it doesn't seem to be enough to help that tire wear later in the race. The other thing, speculation-wise, and I guess there was even rumors, Maverick talked to Cal Crutchlow about this, is they tested the 2018 chassis, and I guess there was talk about it besides with Cal, but there was the 2018 chassis, and it seemed to be better. And so there was some speculation that they might be running it this weekend to help some of that, bring it out a little bit early. So going into the race, it was going to be important for a couple of reasons. One is to see where Dovi was. They qualified one notch below, or second row behind his teammate Jorge Lorenzo, see where he was, and to see where the Yamahs, if they could step it up, and Maverick, who's kind of slowly lost ground to Mark in the championship, and obviously to see if Valentino could turn his performance around and maybe step it up just a little bit to where he could get back in contention for the championship. Race day came, the weather was beautiful. At the start of the race, Valentino Rossi got out in front, and it looked like after 8-9 laps, that he was going to have it pretty much under control. He did not put a wheel wrong at any point in that part of the race, and he was kind of on a march, it looked like, for another victory. Of course, the crowd would have loved it, and that would have put Valentino right back into the championship. Everything looked pretty consistent behind him. You could see that Dovi was right there, Maverick was there, Mark, of course, was there until his engine blew with about 5 laps to go, which was something you just don't normally see in today's Grand Prix race that much, is reliability issues with the bikes. But he blew an engine, it took him out of it. That actually put Dovi in a position. He was in second, Valentino was leading it. But when that engine blew, it seemed to kind of cause a little bit of disturbance with Maverick Vinales, and so he dropped back just a little bit. The interesting thing about Maverick's tire choice, everybody else was on the harder compound tires, and Maverick chose the soft compound tire. And so it looked like that when that happened with Mark's engine, it kind of disrupted his rhythm a little bit, gave Dovi and Valentino a little bit of a gap, and so Maverick had to chase them down. And Dovi made the pass on Valentino with 2 laps to go, and then Maverick did the same, and the race was pretty much settled then. Dovi had another victory. That's his 4th of the championship, but Maverick had a very strong second place, made a good tire choice for him. He was able to manage that, which is a good indicator of maybe where they've made a little bit of an improvement with electronics, maybe a new chassis, for the Yamaha for the rest of the championship. And then Valentino showed he was right there. He didn't have anything for the guys with a couple, after they made the pass, but he showed that he certainly was right there, and he's going to be competitive and maybe have a chance to win a race or two as the season goes on. I want to talk about, obviously great performance by Cal Crutchlow. He finished behind Valentino Rossi, but a good, strong performance for him. But Dovi's the rider that I want to end this on, because what is very impressive about that, and we talked about it before, is it was 7 years between that first win and second win. Then he had 7 months after that. He had another win, and then now he's had 4 total this year. It's not just the fact that he's winning races, but it's how he's going about it. He's not the fastest rider out there, except when he needs to. Great race management, great wisdom in the choices he's making. He's showing the Ducati can work on many different racetracks. I think there's a lot of reasons why his performance is up. With Jorge Lorenzo coming into the team, I think that's taken some of the pressure off Dovi. He wasn't expected to be the quickest guy, but he's utilizing all the experience he has on the development with the Ducati, and we talked about it earlier. His mindset has improved. You can't emphasize that enough. His outlook in life has changed, and it's certainly showing benefits, not only probably in his life, but certainly on the racetrack too. So maybe he'll keep that going. I'm looking forward to the next race. I hope you are too.